to Talk Yarny to Me. I am your host, Odd Knitz Adventure. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Odd Knitz Adventure, and you can read my very, very neglected blog at oddknit.wordpress.com. So hello and welcome to my crazy little piece of the world, little piece of the internet, where I talk yarn and all things crafty and fun and blue. By the looks of it, there's a certain bluish theme going on today, despite my main colour scheme being green. There's a lot of green going on. And please ignore the mess. You're not here to look at the mess. You're here to look at my beautiful, beautiful face. I mean, knitting and yarn. And not, me. I want to talk to you guys today about scraps of yarn, because we've all got them. You knit something, you're always left with a bit afterwards, aren't you? You're always left with some scraps left over. Oh dear, one's gone running. That wasn't very smooth, was it now? But we've all got, this is a ridiculously large scrap, but I'll go into that in a minute. We've all got scraps of just more. There's more. Wait for it. One more. Got one more to show you. It's behind me. Because, I didn't plan any of this. Surely if you weighed all of this, it'd be like, I don't know, it'd be well over a kilo, wouldn't it? Of scraps, of bits left over from projects that I've knit. And I've got things left. And it's so annoying. But I like having it left because sometimes you want a scrap. But it's not very often you need scraps, So if anybody wants to do some mini skein swaps, just, get in touch. I'm sure we can arrange something. But I've got some decent sized scraps. This is pretty decent. I've got definitely got more than 50 grams of this. This is the Uncommon Thread Tough Love Sock in the High Vis colourway. I knit a shawl with it, which I think you've seen because it does hang up on the wall. I think you might have seen it in the background at some point. Yeah. So I've got loads of this left. I am thinking a hat, but I have knit the Pussy hat with Stranded Dyeworks, his limoncello colourway, so I do kind of have a high vis hat now. But what am I going to do? It's going to have to be socks, isn't it? It's going to have to be socks. With something really cool as the heels, toes and cuffs. Like par exemple, perhaps not that one because that's the solo base. Fright Night. Oh my god, Fright Night would be so cool. But that's that scrap used up. Thank you. I don't really want to do scrappy socks all the time, but that's going to have to be socks really. I've got this from some knit picks left over from my exploration station. They look so good together. They're both in my exploration station. Again, I don't really want to do socks. I already had a green and yellow pair of socks. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these just yet. I was thinking of teaming this with some yarn that I've got. That's the shelf of stuff to wind up. I've got a teal. Yeah, I've got a teal and a green, not too dissimilar from this, but it hasn't got the yellow tones in it. So it's got the more darker tones. I was thinking of teaming it with that because I'm just shy, with those two skeins, I'm just shy of the yardage I need to make the shawl shirt by Suzanne Knitz, Suzanne Summer. So I was thinking of maybe putting this on the hems just to kind of eke out the yardage if I can. So, but again, I'll still be left with quite a bit of that. So, decent chunk scraps. I've also got decent chunk scraps in the lace weight category. I've got some Eden Cottage yarn. This is is the autumn colourway. I knit a featherweight cardigan with this, and I have 90 grams left in total because I've weighed it. So, you know, I'm thinking the Morvark Monarch by Lucy Haig, possibly. But lace weight, you do get loads left. This is left over from my Viajante, Stranded Dyeworks Drift Base in the Spook. Yeah, I went for Spook instead of Highway Code. I do have some Highway Code in a couple of days. And this is the Mint Imperial. I've just remembered I've bought some Mint Imperial to make a pavement sweater out of. Oh god, that'd be so cool. But I am thinking of, I've got a few, oh no, this is going to be the Tonks jumper, isn't it? In the Harry Potter, unofficial Harry Potter Knitz book. This, I'm not sure, I've got a few ideas, I've got a few patterns picked out on Ravelry that I could knit, striping these two together or colour blocking. Because I've got, again, got so much left over after knitting the Viajante. It's just insane. But that's trouble with lace weight. Because these, if they come in 100 gram skeins, you get 800 metres. And I had 2 of the Spook and 1 of the Mint Imperial for my Viajante. It's mental. But even then, in there, I've got so I mean, this is left over from, I can't remember, this might be, no, it's left over from my jumper. Oh, so I've weighed the wrong, what did I? Oh no, I've worked it out, it's fine. This is left over from a jumper that I made, tunic. I used like 2 skeins of this, 2 in the bit, because you know I used up others than this. And I used the other whole skein to make a pair of socks that I used most of it, so I've got like 30 grams of that left over. So I've probably got, you know, about the same of this, if not more. Could have made another pair of socks if I want. Well, I probably should make a hat because I've already got a scarf using this. But, you know, I've just got so many scraps. And they're all the ones that are in my blanket. I will show you my blanket in a minute. But, like, this is Aran weight scraps and this is DK weight scraps. Again, I've got a hefty skein here. Most of a skein. I think I used a small amount of it because I was alternating skeins on a jumper. No, cardigan. That was the owl cardigan from the unofficial Harry Potter Knitz book. Stranded Dyeworks. I'm probably going to do a hat, DK hat, because I love hats, and it matches my hair. I can't think what else to do with a skein and a bit of some double knit. I could always pair it with some I Knit London scraps of double knit. This I was thinking of using to make some kind of colourwork coaster or something. You know, because I thought it would look really cool. I love like purple and green, purple and yellow together, so I thought it would be quite cool. Because each one I've used to make a hat actually. So, you know, I've got a fair amount of scraps going on. And then this bag that I made myself, which has got some funky green drawstring that I can't show you because the bag is overflowing, is the yarn, the scraps of yarn that's waiting to go in my Cozy Memory blanket. This is all waiting to go in there. There's so many in here because I thought over the summer I probably won't knit as much and I don't want to work on my blanket in the summer, so I'll save it for autumn and I'll just have like a week of knitting solely on my blanket if there's like a really horrible rainy, windy, stormy week in autumn that I just really want to cozy up with hot chocolate and knit. It's going to take me a little bit more than a week, I think now. There's 13, I've counted. There's 13 different scraps in here and there's more to come. What's it got to do? So, yeah. I'm just going to, now I've shown you my scraps, I'm not going to go over some of the things or some of the ideas that I've had for using the scraps for. Like I've spoken to you about what I'm going to want to do with the larger scraps. So I've got quite a fair, you know, even some of them I've got like possibly 25 grams left. Again, if anyone wants to do a what do you call it, mini skein swap, I'm game. You know, I can do your 10. I will do you either 5 of 10 gram minis or 10 5-gram minis. If you want, you know, if you're doing like a, what do you call it, a granny stripe blanket and you want it all magic ball together, I can do that. I won't magic knot it because I don't know how. But I did do something quite fun for Corner of Craft. I can do that again if necessary. But yeah, I'd like to, but then I know I wouldn't put mini skeins in my blanket because I want my blanket to be everything that I've knitted with. So I'm making a rod for my own back here really. But I'd probably put all the minis together into like a pair of socks, into a scrappy pair of socks, and then just have one square that's like, actually how many rows are in a square on my blanket? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's got to be 23, isn't it? So I cast on 46 stitches, so it's got to be like 23 rows or so. So I need 23 colours. Or I could probably do it with like 11 colours or something. Probably 11 colours. I have 2 garter ridges. I don't know, I can work it out later. But yeah, this is my blanket so far. And I love it. It's very orange, blue, green and yellow, which apparently is my sort of colours. There is a few sort of things that aren't my typical sort of colour range. I suppose this is yellow and blue, but socks for my dad, but again that probably fits in with my colour palette. My birthday socks, which matched my birthday hair. Baby knits, socks for my dad. Some other, socks for my other half. This lovely grey, dark grey. He picked that himself. I was like, great, that's going to go in my blanket, you know, when I finish your socks. Thanks for that, mate. Because, you know, it really goes. But yeah, I'm loving it. I have worked out by the time I've added this into this, I should be a quarter of the way done. It's not going to take very long at all, is it? But I love it. So these and all the substantial sized ones that I've already taken out, and these are already in the blanket. So what am I going to do with all this lot, I hear you say? Well, I had this genius idea. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I've got these 3 skeins. Picked these up at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I think I mentioned this in my Edinburgh Yarn Festival haul. But these are all undyed. They're from Laxtons Limited. I wish I had a couple more because I imagine I might need it to be a bit bigger. But because I did think about, because I'm going to Fibre East, so I did think about saving these for a really nice natural undyed jumper. And if I go to Fibre East, I could pick up, if they're there, I could pick up some more and it will be the same. Well, actually, if it's natural and undyed, you don't need dye lots, do you? So I could just pick up a couple of skeins more, because I think I've got more than 300 grams worth of scraps, if I'm honest. But the idea is to do Stephen West's chevron, brioche chevron wrap, because it's quite... I should have picked up the book before I started filming, but I didn't, did I? Because I'm a numpty. So, pause, unpause. Right, so I've got this fabulous book by Stephen West, West Knits, Best Knits. I've just found the page, but the brioche chevron wrap, it's enormous. I think he does have a pattern to do it as a blanket, but what I might do is make mine a bit wider. Just, you know, chuck on a couple of extra stitches, see what comes out. Because it says it should be about 19 centimetres wide, which is going to be what? 8 inches? 8 inches is about 20 centimetres. Which doesn't sound all that wide, does it really? I'm not being funny, that looks wider than 8 inches. Okay, through an awful lot of research and looking through the book, I think they've just forgotten to print the centimetres bit, so it's actually 19 inches, it just says 19 inches / centimetres. So I think, from looking at other things, it's 19 inches wide, not 8 inches, which is why it doesn't look 8 inches and it looks about 20 inches wide. So that's fair size, really. So I'm just creating a mess now, for sheer hell of it. Yeah, so the main idea is to have all these amazing, so you have the brioche with this, so it's like what yarn starts as and what it becomes, which I think I mentioned before. But I really love keeping it in a glass bowl though. The scraps, it looks so nice, especially if you like just keep spinning it around. It's like, look at all the colours. But yes, so that's what I'm going to do. But then I saw, but also I kind of thought, oh, when I've got like 30 grams left, it's a bit dull, because it does say main colour, so this will be the main colour, 1,189 metres, and I have 1,200 metres of this, so that's why I thought I might go back and get some more. I can't order from Laxtons, but I'm not sure what base I've got, because they didn't come with tags or anything, you know, you got nothing to say what it is, but it was really, really cheap. And I thought 3, I knew I needed 3, because that's what I'd read the pattern. But now I'm like, actually I'd quite like to make it a lot longer. Just keep going, and I think what I might do is when I've used up all my scraps, and possibly if this is all gone, I'm going to put it onto waste yarn and leave it on waste yarn and sort of use it, because it's going to live on the back of, this is a chair at my desk, it's going to live on the back of here, so that in the evening if I'm sitting there I can use it as a blanket, because at the moment I'm using my Cozy Memories blanket, and eventually that's going to be a blanket and go on the bed, because it'll be too big for, you know, me sitting at my desk, so that's what the wrap is ideally for. So yeah, but I would like it to be quite long, so if I put it onto waste yarn I can still use it, and this feels so good. I know it's 100% Falklands, so it's British really, isn't it? So that's that. I want to start that fairly soonish, because I really want to use up my scraps. They're kind of annoying me because I'm running out of spaces to hide them, and I've got a lot of not nice yarn, like acrylics and what have you, that I love, I'm not getting rid of, I'm not going to like throw away or anything. But I tried to be cheap and reuse some loose tea. It's not as pleasant as the first batch. Damn it. Yeah, I've got those acrylics that I'm going to try and use up for baby knits at the moment. And then do what I want to do, because I don't really want to use nice stuff to do what I want to do with it. But anyway, I'm digressing. So I need to get my scraps under control, so this is going to be started fairly soon. I need to wind these up. I don't know if I should alternate it, because being brioche, you're going to have the two colours, you're going to have that distracting you, and they're fairly similar. I mean, I don't really notice any difference in them, because I think they've been bleached. Although the person who worked at Laxtons Limited, who sold me these, took the money for them, told me they haven't done anything to the yarn, and the lighting, as everyone has said, it was not very good there, and also it was very, very busy, and that booth was going bonkers, because I think at that point I'd been there a couple of hours before I'd gone to Laxtons Limited, so I think by then it had got round the event. They were selling them very cheaply, you know, like a quarter of the price of hand-dyed yarn, and that would be sort of people who've just started out, not the super mega famous ones that are selling them for like 20 quid. So, oh no, this was like a fifth of the price of those. Yeah, 4 quid a skein, guys. So cheap. But I think it has been bleached, because she said like it's been like pure unadulterated sheep. No sheep is all one colour. I'm sorry. That's the beauty of nature. It's like I sell buttons at work. We sell wooden buttons, and they're wooden, they're natural, so they are different shades where the wood just is, and the amount of times you pull them out the pot, they say I want 4, so I pull the whole lot out and go pick which 4 you would like for the garment, because there are some darker and some lighter ones, and some that are mild because of where it's caught in the wood, so you get the knots. And they always act surprised. I was like, oh, I thought they'd be the same. They're in the same pot. No, it's wooden. It's nature. Nature's not perfect. Grr. That's what I'm dealing with, guys. So yeah, that's the first idea, and the main idea, to use up scraps. But again, I'm still going to have scraps left over, so if anyone's got any ideas, got any patterns, ideas that you think that would be really good to use them up, whether it's colour work or just heels, toes and calves, whatever, just give me some ideas, guys, because I've got scraps coming out my ear holes, because I've nearly finished a shawl and I've nearly finished a cowl, so there's going to be three new scraps appearing in the jar, and I've got a jumper coming up that's 2 colours, that once I finished the shawl and the cowl, I'll get started on the jumper. So once that's done, that's enough. So actually that'll be 3, because there's 2 different bases going on. So that'll be 3 more squares in the blanket. So you see, scraps are going to keep on coming. So the other thing I would love to do, which was after seeing the Happy Knitting podcast, Julia, and I think I actually commented on one of their pictures saying what I'd love to do. She did a, what's it called? The Excuse Me shawl. Bear with me. And I'll find you a picture. Not of the Happy Knitting podcast, but of she did this shawl, which is brioche, and I think it just works well, again, using up scraps. She had a mostly pink one, because she knits with a lot of pink. She did have like sort of purpley and pinky sort of tones going on, but where's the picture I'd really like to show you? Oh, maybe it's the black and white version. So, it looks like one of those ones, and it's one of those, also one of those shawls you can just keep on going. You just keep increasing where it tells you to increase. I also really want to do the Garter Goodness after seeing Chelsea's on, what do you call it? You know, she's famous. The Legacy Knits. I would like to do that as well, but I want actual, like, whole skeins in that, not scrap. I want to not keep doing scrappy shawls. Oh, there's so many. I really want to do the Starburst as well, because again, you could use up some scraps in these eyelet rows, very similar to, I suppose, Dotted Rays and the Deedler, which incidentally are all in here, so you know you're so glad I paid for them. That's not a pattern, is it? No. Oh, this looks so pretty, and have like a one colour going through. Oh, the rest. I saw her Excuse Me shawl, and it was mostly pink, and I thought, oh, that's quite cool, having like a one colour but having sort of more than one tone going through. And I commented on her Instagram post of the shawl saying, oh, I'm really inspired by yours. I've been so inspired by yours that it's made me want to do one that's wholly green yarn. And she said, go for it. So Julia says, go for it, then you go for it. Because I love green, and whatever colour my hair is becomes my new favourite colour, so like to wear and just to have everything. So everything in my life is this turquoisey blue. This is well, it's actually a jumper. It's one of those jumpers where it's a cardigan but you wear it the wrong way round kind of thing. But sometimes I wear it as a cardigan because I'm cool. So I've knit a lot with blue. There's an awful lot of bluey colours in the scraps. There's more than that. I can't hold it all. Another one. But so I've been trying to force green back into my life because I realised I don't actually have a lot of green. So now I'm like, oh, I want to do an Excuse Me all in greens. So it'd be like those. I'll probably work from the inside of my skein here of some Naive Watercolour Soft Blank by Stranded Dyeworks. I'll probably pull from that to get the green. There's definitely another green in here. I've got my mint, is it called mint? Chocolate mint, silky skein. That's another green. I've got some more green in this bag, but I don't really want to have to go through it because I'll have to get it back in again. I won't be able to find many more greens now, will I? There's a bit of Starcraft, Life 4-ply in the fern, some Wollmeise in the Frost. I love that word. I love speaking. I love speaking German in a really weird way. It's just so much fun. But this is a Frost colourway, which I think means frog. Or it's because I just googled it and it went to Google Images and I've got these pictures of green frogs. But not real frogs, cartoon frogs, so it must be a sort of, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I've got that. I've got some more in there. I've bought yarn recently that's green, so that will eventually go into it, but I'm not going to do it anytime soon. But I've also bought 2 skeins of Wollmeise. I've bought Pesto and another one, but I can't remember the name of the other one. Damn it. I really can't, it's annoying me. It's pistachio? Did I buy Pesto and Pistachio? I think I did. Pesto and Pistachio. So that them themselves are 150 grams each. So I'm not sure how much you need for the brioche. Not brioche chevron. This is the Excuse Me now, isn't it? Let's look at the contents, shall we? That's because there isn't one. Oh, there is. 92. Now, the Excuse Me shawl. One colour. Oh, 500 metres. Really? That's enormous. Each one of them uses 550 or 450. That's insane. So I could do it with the 2 Wollmeise, really. and just stripe in the other greens as and when I feel like it. So I was just going to have one side being the Wollmeise and one side being the Scrappy greens. That intrigues me now. But I will probably just keep on going. I don't know now, but time will tell. I'm not going to do that one yet. I want to do the brioche chevron wrap first to really get my brioche skills up. I have done quite a bit of brioche in my time though. I love it. I like the way it feels afterwards. It's so good. Sorry, and you do. So I think that is enough waffling on about scraps. Yeah, I really do. Well, part of me really wants to go to Fibre East, but the other part of me is like, I don't want to buy any more yarn because I'm really feeling the kind of I have got enough yarn feeling. But I want to go because I want to see yarny people, but I don't want to go on my own because I went to Unravel on my own, and yes, I had a really nice day and I really enjoyed it, and at the end of it I felt really good. But I went on my own because I'm quite nervy and as soon as I got there I ran into the loo and had a mini panic attack because I get really nervy and don't like talking to people, but you know, and I sort of had to give myself a little pep talk in the loo and put on my big girl knickers and go and talk to people about yarn. And I'm talking about yarn because, you know, always I have a little saying about myself, which is inherently cack-handed and socially inept and inherently cack-handed. That is me. And I kind of feel like because when I went to Unravel I completely missed a room. I managed to not go into the main hall. How on earth did I miss it? I don't know, but I did. And that's what I'm kind of thinking. If I go to Fibre East, am I going to miss something because I'm on my own and I'm hyperventilating and I just want to get out? And I did at some point at Unravel. I had to leave for like an hour and sat on a bench and just sat by the pond. Well, not pond, it's like a little river. I just sat and watched the river in the middle of February, looking like a normal person. So I kind of don't want to go on my own, but I do want to go because I want to go. I really enjoyed meeting, because I met Stranded there, that was quite cool. And I met Terry of Fine Fish, who was so lovely. She was really nice. I would love to, because I think she's vending at Fibre East, so I would love to go there again. And I really want a sweater quantity of Fine Fish yarn because I really appreciate her yarn and her as a person, and I'm very conscious of where my money goes. I do like to give it to people who I feel deserve it because, you know, I'm like that. And yeah, so I do want to go, but I just don't want to go on my own. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because I'm not going to meet up with weirdos. Or actually, in this situation, I'm going to be the weirdo. Got blue hair. I think that puts me in the weirdo camp. So, I really don't want to go, but I really don't. And I think some of the podcasters who I would actually like to meet, I think they're going on the day that I can't go. So I'm also like, because I thought I could just like hang around with them. Do what I normally do, which is just latch on to the first person I meet in a situation, just go, you're going to be my friend. And I've made a few very good friends from doing that, you know, just latching on. It's like imprinting, like when a baby chick duckling is born, hatched even, the first thing they see is their mama. And that's what I do. The first person I see in these situations, I'm like, you are my friend. And one time I have walked up to someone, and I was about 17, I walked up to them and said, I've decided we're going to be friends. Yeah, 17-year-old walked up to another 17-year-old and said, I've decided we're going to be friends. It was one of the best friendships I ever had, to be fair. It was really good. But that tends to be my life. I make really good friends and then they leave. And like they become really, really inseparable and then they leave. And eventually they come back. Or some of them come back, some of them don't. But the ones that do, we meet up because we're like, oh, we'll meet up, we'll catch up. And then it's really awkward because we haven't seen each other for years and you actually sit there and you think, who are you? You're not who you used to be.